Younger women are better. 90% of your eggs are gone by 30. Women tend to have very complicated pregnancies after the age of 35. And if you marry a woman at that age, it's not. But older women, I constantly see them bragging about their house, their kids, how amazing of a wife they are. But I never hear them bragging about their husbands and why their husbands are so amazing. All of the credit and adoration is always to themselves and not their husbands.
These days, way too many mothers go online just to bash their husbands, and honestly, it's out of control. Some of them will sit there and make fun of their partners in front of the whole world, and usually for the most ridiculous reasons you can think of.
The other thing that older women do not want the men to know. And again, they make up these words that you can't define, don't really mean anything, in order to confuse the men to think that they're getting a better deal than they're getting.
That's nothing new. These days, modern women throw around words like mental load, weaponized incompetence, and oppression so often that they've completely lost their meaning. Let's be honest here.
Be the most toxic thing that has ever come out of my mouth, but I'm just gonna say it because I know for a fact that there are other women who are sharing this same sentiment as I am, so I'm gonna speak for all of us. My love life is so dry right now. In fact, my love life has been dry since September of 2024, so we're going on a year here. I am actually at a point where I think I'd rather be in a situationship. Yes, I said it. I think I would rather be in a situationship than be this single and bored.
All these women do is get caught up in casual situationships because they can't handle real, committed relationships. Why? Because in their minds, about 95% of men just aren't good enough for them.
That is saying a lot because I feel like I have done all of the healing work that a person can do in their lifetime. I've done all the right things. I have chosen peace first above all else. I've spent time alone. I have learned to enjoy my time alone, and sometimes I enjoy it a little bit too much. But I don't know. At this rate, it's like, if I'm not at least going to find someone to be in a committed relationship with, at least I can still get something out of a situationship. Like, at least I can still get some excitement.
The fact that she believes a situationship will somehow fix her problems just shows she hasn't worked on herself at all. She's stuck in the same cycle, making the same mistakes again and again.
Over a situationship that isn't going to last. Because at least when you're in a situationship, you have this idea that, okay, maybe things are going to go further. You at least can picture a future with someone. You're living in a fantasy world, and I like living in that fantasy world, okay? That is a little bit more exciting than me sitting here and quite honestly every day just being like, is this what it's come to? And just questioning like, will it ever be my turn? Is it ever going to happen for me?
Modern women often pick fantasy over compromise. Instead of putting in the effort to build a real relationship, they convince themselves that the guy they're casually seeing will suddenly want something serious. It's easier to believe the dream than to face reality.
I don't know. I'm just really tired of being in this place where there's like absolutely no one. And I've only been in 2 situationships in my entire life. Like, really, I've only been in 2. And they were the worst time of my life. Like, they ruined me. They made me sick. They made me like get to the worst place I've ever been in my life. But at least when I was in a situationship, I felt like there was hope. I felt like there was at least someone out there that could fulfill something within me.
You could replace the word situationship with cigarettes, and it would make just as much sense, because both are unhealthy. These kinds of relationships offer almost nothing in return but still come at a huge cost. She's so bored and emotionally drained that she's willing to dive back into that toxic cycle just to feel something.
And that something is just that feeling of closeness that you simply cannot get with a platonic friendship or a platonic relationship. So that is where we're currently at. We are at the point where we would honestly prefer a situationship, but a little something that can bring us some excitement, something that we could get for the plot, than just being so single to the point where it like literally seems impossible.
It's crazy how she thinks the answer to her problems is going back to something she already knows doesn't work. But she still does it, just because she misses the thrill. You really can't make this stuff up.
Girls, we need to get off Hinge and we need to get off Tinder. Like, right now. Delete it from your phone and don't look back. All these horror stories that I've heard from guys that we've met saying that they use it for validation, attention. They just use it because it's a video game.
Literally, these are straight words from men's mouth. They literally just use it like once or twice a week just for the fun of it. Like, no one's actually using this legitly.
Like, you're just making yourself so available to these men. And like, of course, like our hearts are all like, oh, like, let's give them a chance. And like, we'll actually try and use this app for the right things. And they're just like playing us all.
They're clearly talking to a few of those chat types who use Tinder, because honestly, those are the only guys getting attention on those apps. Meanwhile, modern women get endless matches and messages, yet somehow they still blame all men for not having enough good dating options. It's ridiculous. Quick reminder, fellas, I've got a second channel linked in the pinned comment. Go check it out when you can. Now, let's get back to the video.
Controversial topic of the day. This is advice to ladies 35, single, looking for a husband. Forget about the emotions. Pick logically. And here's what I mean. I recently had lunch with a beautiful girl. She's 38 years old, looking for a husband. She says, I've gone on several dates. I just don't feel anything. The sparks, the romance, the butterflies, the chemistry. I told her, forget about the feelings. And here's what I mean. For most of human existence, this is for all the history we have written record of, typically we reproduce when we were teenagers.
Modern women are chasing that movie-style love story, the one where they meet the perfect guy, everything just falls into place, and they live happily ever after without putting in any effort. But life doesn't work like that, and it never has. Still, they just don't want to believe it.
Why? Because this is when we produce the hormones that create the crazy butterflies and attractions. This is evolution's way of making sure the human race continued. This is why when teenagers fall in love, there is zero logic. There is, we're in love, we're going to get married, how are you going to survive? Who knows? Who cares? I'm in love. There is zero logic, all emotions. Remember when you were a teenager and you had a crush? You were up till 6 a.m. talking to that person on the phone, thinking about that person. That typically happens between teenage years to early 20s because this is typically when we were supposed to reproduce.
And this right here is exactly why waiting until your 30s to look for a serious relationship isn't a smart move. Age isn't just a number, it's real, and it comes with real consequences.
This is why so many people that are 35 and up have a hard time getting married because they think they're going to have those butterflies and the feelings, and for the most part, we're not. Why? Because that time where our body was going to produce these crazy butterflies is gone. Now, the older we get, we become less emotional and more logical. So a lot of people think, I'm going to meet somebody and it's going to be like The Notebook. It's going to be like a Hollywood romance and he's going to sweep me off my feet and it's going to happen. The older you are, that probably won't happen. This is for both men and women.
We also have to be real about this. If a woman waits until she's nearly 40 to finally settle down, chances are she's carrying a lot of emotional baggage and past experiences that have left her bitter. And honestly, that's not something most men find appealing.
Because now we're thinking logically. Your body's not going to produce those kind of hormones. So ladies, if you're looking for a husband, think logically. Find a man that you genuinely admire. This is a must. A woman can only fall in love with a man that she genuinely admires. So think of someone that's going to be a good companion, someone that you have similar values and interests, someone that you are physically attracted to, but someone that you admire. Admiration eventually leads to love. Ladies, stop thinking emotionally and start thinking logically if you're trying to find a husband.
That's easier said than done for a lot of these women. Many of them grow up believing that their feelings matter more than facts. You see it all the time. A modern woman will tell a man she just doesn't feel like his facts are true. Logic and emotion don't exactly mix well in that world.
If a woman's 35 and unmarried, it's likely that she will never get married. Once a woman hits 30, is not in a relationship, it's more likely that she won't have kids than she will. And selling these dreams, I'm not in the business of it. I'm just a fan of speaking in reality, being honest. Kevin Samuels, what I liked about him is he had real actionable advice. And it's so much better than anything that the trad cons will give you. He said if you're 35 and single, the trad cons will tell you pray for a husband.
Kevin Samuels gave these women the kind of blunt honesty they never wanted to hear. Modern women can't stand that level of truth, they'll deny it with everything they've got. But that never stopped him from speaking his mind anyway.
Go to churches. churches don't generally have men you'll be attracted to because men that can think for themselves don't generally go to church. Kevin Samuel said, lower your standards, hire a matchmaker, get a personal trainer. If you're 35, it's going to require time, money, and effort in order to get what you want. If Christian women have a poor outcome, it's never blamed on their behavior, but they blame it on God's plan.
It's kind of funny when you think about it. These women love to say they're strong and independent, but then they turn around, join the church, and claim a higher power is now guiding their lives. That's basically the complete opposite of independence.
I'm not saying God doesn't have a plan, but I genuinely do not believe that God wanted Nala to put her butthole on OnlyFans. I really don't. I don't. And, that choice will have a repercussion. But what I've noticed is that whenever there's a negative outcome, the Christians never tell women that it's based on their behavior. It's because of God. But if a man has a poor outcome, it's always because of his behavior.
For modern women, nothing is ever their fault. There's always something or someone else to blame, some excuse that's out of their control. Must be nice to have a built-in cop-out for everything, right? Anyway, that's where we'll wrap up today's video. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, peace.